Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and this is our weekly TV news, which is a little bit later than normal this week, meaning that it's actually the start of next week, because, you know, it's usually the weekend. Delays, scheduling, things. I don't even remember what pushed it back from Friday, which is when we usually record it, but...
Friday, did we have an extra... Did we have a new TV show or something to do on Friday? I don't know.
I don't think we did. Oh, we kind of had Russian Doll, but that wasn't... We didn't push news for that, though.
I know what it was.
What?
We had to do Multiverse TV on Friday because there was too much to watch on Thursday.
I feel like that's mildly stretching it, but I'll accept that.
Well, I mean, I was still watching the shows on Friday, and then obviously we had the recorded.
I will accept that. It's a little bit weak. So obviously we usually do TV news and movie news. I think we're just doing TV news this week. We don't necessarily have time to fit in the other one as well. And if I think there's a chance this coming weekend we'll just do movie news, so they've each had one each, and then we'll be back to doing both every weekend the following week. But we do have some juicy TV news this week. We got renewals, we got cancellations. Actually. Yeah, we do have a cancellation. A really sad one.
Okay. We got trailers. I mean, Super Bowl gave us shit all, but we got trailers elsewhere.
Yeah, Super Bowl didn't give us anything, but we did get a good trailer for something else. And you know, we got the pilot orders. We got a ton of pilot orders. That's the main event of the
It's that
news
time
right
of
now.
year.
So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. So without further ado, we'll dive into some renewals. The CW have renewed. I actually cut off the first part that told me how many this was. I think
it was 10.
Is it 10 shows? I better read them all, so you can count them as I go if you like. So they renewed Charmed for season 2. They renewed Legacies for season 2. They renewed Black Lightning for season 3. They renewed Dynasty for season 3. And then they didn't tell me the numbers for these, but I'll see if I can guess them. So Riverdale got renewed for season 4. Arrow got renewed for season 8. Renewed for season 8. Legends of Tomorrow got renewed for season 5. The Flash got renewed for season 6. Supergirl got renewed for season 5. And Supernatural got renewed for season 15.
That's ridiculous. Do you know what's something that's interesting in is I haven't seen an article this week mention how Dynasty is one of their lowest rated shows in terms of views.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I think this says a lot about how CW's deal with Netflix really kind of gives a lot of their shows a safety net, which is why they could afford to reduce so many so early.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. They've got a lot of international Netflix deals for various shows. It varies from place to place. It varies from show to show. But yeah, they've got a lot of deals.
Even domestically, do they not have a deal with Netflix where after this, like within like a week of the season ending, it goes up on there?
Yes, they do for now. Yeah.
Yeah. And things like, you know, Dynasty, which has a name attached to it already, is so easy to sell internationally.
Yeah. So now we did a bunch of shows. Pretty much everything that wasn't a mid-season show and wasn't already known to be ending, has basically been renewed. Mid-season stuff, I'm sure they'll decide on and later down the line. So. You know, as what it is. Not really any surprises. We kind of expected all the DC shows to get renewed. I think there was maybe one or two that they thought was a small chance they might not get renewed, but to be honest, it was pretty slim. Like it looked quite likely.
This is the CW. They let Supernatural get to season 15. We're good.
Yeah, Supernatural does quite well for them, though, to be fair. It has good numbers still. I was actually just thinking about how long that is, really. And, you know, thinking about time. Supernatural started in 2005. I was still in high school. And what was making me laugh when I was thinking about that is that the target audience at the time probably was teenage girls about my age. And I'm just laughing because they're all turning 30 this year.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Supernatural is basically half of your life.
Yeah, it is. I'm turning 30 this year. It's half my life. It's been going half my life.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's weird. So it's been out for a while. Even Arrow, like hitting season 8, like it's weird to think that started in 2012. And I'm like, just in terms of comic books, like that was a year into the New 52, and now you know we're going into season 8, and now we're doing, you know, comics have, you know, changed so much since then. And
they have, yeah.
You know, this is weird. Like there's so much happening. But yeah, so that's all the CW renewals. Also renewed with Sex Education at Netflix. Season 2 will have 8 episodes, which I assume is the same as season 1. This is a Gillian Anderson sort of drama comedy, where she's like a sex therapist and her son kind of...
Yeah, it looked rough.
Yeah. You thought it looked rough?
Oh, I thought it did, yeah. I thought it looked pretty cringy and rough. But I mean, people liked it.
Yeah, people seem to like it. I didn't really have an opinion on it. We didn't try it. it kind of went under the radar for us. Like we might have done the first episode had I realised it was launching when it did, but I didn't.
I kept my mouth shut.
Yes, because Connor clearly didn't want to watch it. But I'll do a better job. I'll make sure he's forced to watch everything in the future. Unfortunately, though, we have some sad news at Netflix. It's not the worst news ever because of how it ended its last season, but Travelers has been cancelled at Netflix after season 3, which is a shame because we love that show. But I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say this is the saddest cancellation we've had since we started doing this. I don't think I've cared about anything as much as there's things that have ended since we've started doing this, but there's nothing that's been cancelled.
Technically untrue.
Is
technically.
It? Okay.
The saddest cancellation was The Expanse.
Okay, yeah, but that gets saved.
It did. But at the time, that was sad.
Okay, sure. Expanse was bigger at the time, but it got saved. So this is the saddest one in the sense that it's going to stick.
It is. I hope I can get like a comic continuing it or something. That'd be cool.
I can see that. The good thing is though is that season 3 they clearly, but didn't necessarily.
This might be the case.
Yeah, they clearly didn't necessarily know if they were being picked up or not, but I think they ended season 3 in a way that works very well as an ending, and it left it in a place where they could have done more, but the more would have definitely been kind of a reset. It'd have been a very sort of different version of the show, and it kind of plays very nicely. It's got kind of an ending that works, and I don't feel that upset. Like I will happily watch that show again and feel that ending as an ending. So it ends in a good place. So
it does. It's sad not to have more, and it's sad to lose such a consistently high quality written show.
Yeah, but it's not sad in the same way that some cancellations are, where the story's just not done. They actually neatly ended a lot of arcs, and some of the arcs that were going all over all 3 seasons. So it actually neatly kind of works.
It works to a degree. Yeah.
So don't let that discourage you. I highly recommend checking Travelers out still. I think it has an ending that works. So please do. So next up, we got a premiere date for something big that we will definitely be doing, and that is the new Twilight Zone.
Oh yes, we did.
Which is coming from CBS All Access. It's coming on April 1st, although that's not its regular day. It's going to premiere episodes 1 and 2 on April 1st, and its regular day is going to start on April the 11th, which will then be airing weekly. So it's airing like, it's almost as if it's just early the first week, and then the second week it's on its normal day of Thursday night.
Yes.
It's
kind of like a week and a half between the first episodes.
But you're getting 2 episodes, so I mean, I guess that kind of softens the wait.
Yeah, I guess.
So that's a little bit weird. I'm not sure why they're determined for April 1st, but other than the fact that maybe they just think it's funny because April Fool's Day, Twilight Zone.
Yeah, I wonder if one of the episodes kind of ties into that a little bit.
Yeah, it could do. So Jordan Peele is the host for this, which is really cool. Obviously, he's made a name as a horror filmmaker. He's got a second film coming out this year. But he's going to be the host. He's taking Rod Serling's place. And that's actually a list some of the cast here. Now, I stopped telling everyone on the news, the cast news, because it was getting kind of repetitive. It was, okay, some notable people are being mentioned, but it's just for one episode. It's not like it's a big, like, oh...
Yeah, but now you can just rattle off a list of them.
Yeah, so here's people who are going to be in this. So we got cast members like John Cho, Lucinda Dryzik, Tassia Farmiga, I like her, Greg Kinnear, he's alright, Luke Kirby, Sana Lathan, Camille Nanjiani, like him, Adam Scott, like him, Rhea Seehorn, like her, Alison Tolman, yeah, kind of like her, Jacob Tremblay, that's the kid from Room and Predator, Jefferson White, Jonathan Whitesell, Jessica Williams, DeWanda Wise, and Stephen Yeun. Oh, I know who Stephen Yeun is. There was a few there that I didn't know, but Stephen Yeun, he's from Walking Dead.
Oh, okay.
That's not good. That's a cast. That's a hell of a cast.
How many episodes is this, do we know?
I don't know if we know. I don't actually know if we know.
I'm not actually sure. Cause...
I'd say it's at least 10, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'd say with that amount of cast, it could be, assuming there's not, I mean, there's maybe enough for 8 to 12 episodes there.
Yeah, because you don't know if that's just 1 per episode, if that's like 2 per episode from that list. Because, you know, one episode could have 4 of these people in it. You know?
Yeah, it depends how they're divvied up.
Yeah.
I assume a lot of the bigger names are divvied up, so they've got, okay, this is the episode with this person, right?
But hey, so yeah, Twilight Zone, of course, is coming in April. We'll definitely be covering it because it's right up our alley. And having seen some of the original series from the 50s, that's very good. So I'm expecting quality from this. We actually
know very little about this, though. You know, we don't know how long the episodes are.
We don't. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be 30 minutes still. Maybe a bit more flexible in the old show, but...
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if it will. my assumption is they will actually attempt to modernize it a little more and go for the full, 50 minutes to an hour sort of anthology.
I mean, they might.
Yeah.
But they're doing some remakes of old episodes, so
Yeah, they might see that as an opportunity to expand upon them.
we'll see. But I mean, if we watch those episodes and they're kind of rough because they're too long,
Well, then we have something to talk about.
that'll
don't
be an obvious criticism that'll be thrown at them
we?
for
It will, yeah.
for stretching stories out. But yeah, so there you go. So that's coming on April 1st for the first two, and then April 11th then on for weekly episodes. Then we got a trailer this week for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 6, which is coming in the summer. This was quite nice to see because obviously it's been a while now since the last season ended. It's a bigger gap because it's been pushed to summer. So it was nice to get a trailer for this. It looks pretty nifty.
It does, doesn't it?
It looks like we've got a team of villains who are either very good at fighting, at least, or have powers themselves. Because it looks like they're going toe-to-toe with Skye. It looks like we're going to have, like... No, we have the anti-Shield now. We have, like, the team that's going to rival our team. It also looks like they're going to be looking for fits in space. That seems to be the plot, at least to begin with. We're not just going to have them immediately at the start, which is fine. That's cool. We spend time doing that. And then the ending kind of implies something.
Yeah, which... It's hard to say it's a spoiler when there's the trailer itself has a title and the opening words of the trailer are, X thing.
Yes.
So, I mean, are we going to just talk about this?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so mild, well, it's not even mild. It's spoilers for last season of S.H.I.E.L.D. if you've not seen it for the next couple of minutes, but this is in the trailer, so if you watch this trailer, you'll know this. So, at the end of season 5 of S.H.I.E.L.D., Coulson was dying. He was dead. Like, he was left off in a place where he's probably, dead by the time we come back.
This trailer opens with Coulson is dead.
Yes. But at the end of this trailer, and, all the footage we see, the team is at least operating under the assumption that he is dead.
Yes.
I'd say, unless May knows that he's not dead and she's kind of keeping it to herself.
That would not be unlike May.
Yeah, but at least the rest of the team seem to be operating with Coulson is dead, is what they know. And the end of the trailer, though, ends with like a shot. It's like, you see the gun in the hip, and then it comes up and it turns around, it's Coulson. Although, the placement in the trailer gave me this weird vibe. It was almost implying that he was the leader of the villains.
Yeah, that's how I felt. And there's a line where, he goes, you work for S.H.I.E.L.D. He's like, S.H.I.E.L.D. never heard of them, or whatever it was.
Yeah. Which actually has me thinking that it's not our Coulson. I'm thinking this is like Coulson from like another Earth or something like that.
Shapeshifter?
Could be a shapeshifter, yeah. I'm also thinking, Mirror World, essentially, Coulson. I can see that.
Yeah. I mean, this guy's died multiple times now. Yeah. You can't fire him. Can't get rid of him.
I think that'd be a fun thing to do. Is that like the show is this, but he's actually really dead. Like this is just like some fake Coulson. So we're going to have Clark Gregg around for a while, but it's not really him, and that's going to make it really sad because they're going to have to fight him. And
yeah, I'm down. This is it's only 13 episodes this year, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was 13.
Yeah. Which is actually one of the only network shows that I'm like, no, this didn't need to be cut down. This was already really well paced.
Yeah, because they did a really good... Ever since season 2, they did a really good job pacing their episodes out. And obviously the last 2 seasons, they even split it up into like mini arcs to kind of fill that time.
But, hey, if this is what it takes to keep it going.
Yeah. Some of the fighting looked good. Skylux was in some pretty nice fights and the quick glimpses we got. Max, the leader now, and he's struggling with the pressure of that.
I did not see any shotgun acts, though, so...
No. I also didn't see any Deke, but we know he's a regular this year, so...
I thought there was a glimpse of him.
Was there a glimpse of him? Fair enough.
I'm pretty sure there was, yeah.
Maybe a quick zap of him, but
I think he jumped across with some guns at one point.
Oh, very nice. Okay. Fair enough. Because I'm looking forward to the lemons.
Oh, yeah. The lemons are everything.
Coming. So we'll see what happens, and maybe they'll go down the path where it is really Coulson, but he's been like mind wiped and he's been controlled or something, and we'll get him back at the end of the season or something. I don't know. I think the saddest, most bittersweet version though is that it's not really him, and ultimately we don't have him back. So they're going to think there's a chance that it's him, that they can get him back, and then they have to all learn again by the end that oh no.
I think it's equally just as sad that it is him, but they learn too late.
Well, no, because then there's always the hope of bringing him back.
No. They learn once it's too late, and it's all right. It's dead again. Like but then they, or he's on his way out, and then they realize, that's just as sad.
Okay, sure. That feels less likely to me, but sure.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm presenting sad alternatives.
Let's move on then. We actually have a little bit of casting news. We have one casting news thing before we get to the orders. So Bryan Cranston signed on to be the lead role in the Showtime limited series Your Honor. We spoke about this when it was being developed. Peter Moffat's the showrunner behind it. Cranston is going to serve as executive producer on the 10-episode series. It is described as a legal thriller that rips through the strata of a New Orleans society. Cranston will star and as a respected judge whose son is involved in a hit and run that leads to a high-stakes game of lies, deceit, and impossible choices. The series is based on the Israeli series Kvodo. That's Kvodo. Kvodo.
Photo, yeah.
Yeah, I'll just assume the case silent. Vodo. There you go. That's easier. Cranston's great. I mean, the premise of the show isn't necessarily
doesn't excite me.
Yeah, but I mean, speaking of Cranston, would the premise of Breaking Bad have excited you? Just on a paragraph, you know.
Depends how you say it, because as a drama, like I can see the log line of a man learns he has cancer and decides to get into the meth business, right? That intrigues me more than a legal thriller inherently.
It depends how you phrase it, because I don't know, like the way you said it. Sure, you give it like this hint of humor, but I feel like the logline at the time was probably more like, oh, man learns he has cancer and then gets embroiled in the criminal underworld of drug dealing, like
yeah, probably,
and that inherently sounds just as boring to me as anything that this does.
I mean, legal thriller. That just automatically is like the lowest level of interest I can have.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I think the problem is that like that could be where it's set and that's what the characters are involved in, but it's actually not written like a procedural legal thriller, which is why you have a distaste for it.
It is, but like I said, it's just in the back of my mind. I can't help it. It's just there.
We'll
it's a bit
see.
Prejudiced, but what am I going to do?
All right, moving on then. We've got orders. Disney Plus has given a straight-to-series order for Diary of a Female President, with Gina Rodriguez attached as executive producer. So this is the streaming service doesn't exist yet. It's coming later this year. It's a single-camera comedy series, 10-episode order, told from the narration of her diary. The series follows a Cuban-American 12-year-old girl as she navigates the ups and downs of middle school and her journey to becoming the future president of the United States.
Is this the first thing on this service that's not like a Disney property already? Because everything else I can think of is something they own. It's based on something that they've got movies of.
I want to say there maybe was one, but I can't remember what it was.
Okay, fair enough.
You're right that most of them have been like Star Wars, Pixar, the
Marvel,
High School Musical, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're ordering things. I mean, this is clearly obviously aimed towards a bit more towards kids, I think, but
I would assume so. But I mean, that's fine.
But they're ordering things, so it felt notable to mention it. So we're in the comedies then. So Fox has given a pilot order to a multi-camera comedy called Patty's Auto. Inspired by Patrice Banks' Girls Auto Clinic, an auto repair shop with an all-female mechanics, the project is described as an ensemble comedy centering on Patty and the eclectic women who work for her. Darlene Hunt will serve as executive producer and writer. She previously worked on the Showtime series The Big C and recently on the revival of Roseanne and the Connors. So it's a
workplace comedy.
It's a workplace comedy, but the gimmick is that it's a mechanics, that it's all female, which goes against all the jokes that it's always a men. It's always men trying to take advantage of female customers essentially.
Sure.
That's the stereotype in TV shows and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, multi-camera comedies don't typically excite me that much these days, but nothing wrong with the premise.
No.
So, yeah. ABC's given a pilot order to a single-camera comedy called Women Up from Zoe Lister-Jones. In Women Up, two former teen mums have worked their asses off to see their daughters all the way through high school graduation, and now, at 35, they're ready to make up for their youth that they never had.
Okay.
Give me something. This is a show corner.
I'm thinking these are very generic sounding things. It's a lot of these comedy descriptions are really bland.
They are, because the comedy comes from the writing. It doesn't really come from
the
premise.
This
is the thing though. If anything, the ones that have more of a premise worry me, because normally they buckle under the premise. The ones that are simpler in premise are the ones that I tend to end up liking.
I agree, but the ones that give me something to go on here are the ones that have a bit of style in their description.
Sure. But most of the comedies that I think I end up liking tend to have really simple premises because it's just funny characters doing funny things in that premise.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
The ones that have more of a strict concept are the ones that end up buckling, I think. Next up, then, ABC is giving another pilot to a single camera comedy starring starring, co-written and executive produced by Hannah Simone, who you'll know from New Girl.
Yes.
It is untitled right now, but it's inspired by Hannah's non-traditional family, her Indian family. It had a pilot commitment. It's untitled. It centers on her and her Indian-American immigrant father. They always have been close, but after she admits to herself that she's in a dead-end job and he reveals that his marriage is over, they're starting over together and finding each a new path. This chapter will either make them crazy close or just plain crazy.
Okay. I like this one a bit more because I've got someone who I know that I like, so inherently it's like, okay, I've got some level of expectation based on this description.
Yeah. It's interesting because I feel like there's not a lot of comedies where the two main characters are father and daughter. Like, that's a normal thing they have within a family. You have the whole family, then you'll have the dad sort of added on kind of thing.
Yeah.
But this is like, it sounds like it's just them as the main characters, and maybe I'm sure they'll both have friends.
It does. I'm trying to think if there are any other examples springing to mind, but none are jumping out at me.
So yeah. Next up, NBC has ordered a pilot of Village Gazette. This is from Amber Rufflin, who works on Late Night with Seth Meyers. She's going to star, write, and executive produce in a single camera comedy. She plays the fluff piece loving editor of the Benson Village Gazette, covering her idyllic hometown. But when the newspaper owners hire a reporter who's looking to uncover a juicy story in Benson, he threatens to unravel the happy denial Amber has been living in. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's going to end up in a love interest as well.
Probably. That started off sounding like, oh, it's just a workplace comedy, and then it got quite specific.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's going to be like, okay, is that a season-long plot thread that he's uncovering this stuff, or is that just okay, that's what you're there for, and then after the first episode, okay, it's a workplace comedy?
I honestly think it's going to be like you sort of spoke about it there as if it's like a plot. I don't think it is. I think all that really means is that he's just there to prove that this is not a white picket fence dream town.
Sure.
And he's going to constantly try and prove, like, no, there's corruption here, there's bad things here, and she's going to try and constantly,
Okay, I'm with you.
I think that's what it's getting at. It's just, they're just going to be rivals in the workplace, and then probably love interests.
Yeah, okay, I'm with you now. So, workplace comedy.
It's a workplace comedy. Yes. CBS has ordered a pilot for Carol's second act, starring Patricia Heaton. Heaton is set to play Carol Chambers, who, after raising 2 children and retiring from teaching, embarks on a unique second act. She's going to become a doctor. At the age of 50.
Yeah, okay. So I assume she was already trained up and then went into teaching instead? Or is she just going, do you know what, I finished teaching, I'm going into school?
That's what I'm getting from I think that's what the joke is, or did I say the joke? That's what the premise is that she decides to start from scratch to become a doctor at 50, which presumably is going to take a while.
I mean, it takes years of training, right?
Yeah, because you have to do a degree, then you have to do the postgrad. Yeah, because doctors go through a lot more education than most professions.
They do, which is that's why I'm wondering if she actually went through all of that when she was younger and then decided to go into teaching instead, and now she's like, you know what, I've had enough of teaching.
Maybe she did the first thing she had to do, but the actual doctorate school, the actual medical training part, she did a degree and then she veered into teaching with that degree, but she's going back into an actual med school.
Man, she must have done so much education, because obviously being a teacher as well, you do your degree and then you have to do your teaching education stuff as well.
Yeah, I imagine that's probably shorter than what the doctor stuff is, though.
It's still a couple of years. I know a few teachers.
Yeah, but I feel like I want doctors to have more education than a teacher.
And so the person one of the people I know who's a teacher did a 3-year degree. Then a 2-year teaching specific thing, and then a year placement in a school before they're allowed to do any sort of teaching themselves.
Yeah. I can never get through that teaching this part, I don't think.
No, screw kids.
I feel like my reaction when because they'll be saying, okay, how do you respond to a situation like this? I'd be like, you throw the ruler at his head.
You tell them to shut the F up.
Yes, and then that's it. I fail.
I feel like I'd have respected more teachers if they'd just gone, shut the fuck up. Wouldn't you?
Possibly. CBS has given a pilot order to Whom It May Concern, a hybrid comedy from Gail Berman's The Jackal Group. To Whom It May Concern centres on Evan, who sets out with his group of 20-something friends to accomplish a list of challenges he wrote for himself years ago in an effort to turn around his banal life. So presumably as a kid... Sorry?
Yeah, I remember we've talked about this one before, right?
We talked about the last one before as well.
Yeah, okay. This is what I remember, though, because I think we likened it to My Name is Earl.
Yeah, it's got that kind of a vibe to it. Yeah, he's made a list as a kid, and now as an adult, he's like, you know what, I'm going to do all these things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I can see that one being fun if it's got a lot of stupid shit on the list, like a lot of things that only a kid would think of. And he's like, I'm going to do it anyway.
I can see that, yeah. So we mentioned CBS All Access back for Twilight Zone. They've actually just ordered another show. So starting off the dramas here, they've ordered a 10-episode season of The Stand as a limited series. This is obviously the Stephen King book. It's an adaptation of that. There's been a miniseries before, although I think the miniseries before was much shorter than 10 episodes. I think it was just like a couple.
Fair enough.
Again,
are they doing this as a limited series, or is it just like, okay, this is just an order?
It's a limited event.
Limited event, okay.
Yeah. So it comes from Josh Boone, who's worked on The Fault in Our Stars and SEAL Team, both things which feel very different from this. So I guess you can't really judge anything.
Yeah, I mean, it tells me that he's a versatile person.
Yes. So The Stand is King's apocalyptic vision of a world decimated by plague and embroiled in an elemental struggle between good and evil. The fate of mankind rests on the frail shoulders of the 108-year-old Mother Abigail and a handful of survivors. Their worst nightmares are embodied in a man with a lethal smile and unspeakable powers, Randall Flagg, the Dark Man. So, so doing The Stand. A story I've heard of for pretty much most of my life, and I've never read.
It's one of the more high-profile King works.
Yeah.
So bold to go. Do you know what? We're going to be the ones to take a stab at this today, in the era that is now defined by King adaptations.
I imagine that's probably why it's been greenlit. I imagine that's why they want it, is because like, oh hey, like all these adaptations are doing well. I think even something like The Haunting of Hill House, which is not a Stephen King thing, it has a Stephen King feel to it, and they probably go,
Sure.
oh, that's done well. It's doing well. That all these different things are doing well. Let's do a Stephen King thing, and they probably paid a lot of money to get the rights to The Stand.
Probably, yeah.
So let's do the biggie one. So there you go. Yeah, it sounds like something we'd check out, of course, no doubt. I haven't read the book myself, but I'm sure Tim loves it. I'll ask Tim what he thinks of it.
Yeah, Tim. I actually saw Tim being all excited about this earlier in the week when it was announced. Yeah, he's quite happy.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Well, speaking of horror-themed shows then, I mean, that one's a bit maybe more sci-fi-ish, but King, of course, is traditionally aligned with horror. So for a while we have known that Don Mancini, the creator of the Child's Play and Chucky franchise, has been working on a TV show, which is in the continuity of the movies that is following up after the last movie, which was Cult of Chucky. We finally know where that's going. SyFy have acquired the development rights to it, so SyFy are working with them.
That feels an appropriate home.
It does. It feels like a decent place for it. So it just says centered on the red-headed doll possessed by the soul of dead serial killer Charles Lee Ray, and Don Mancini is going to be working on it. So I mean, it doesn't really give us any new information beyond SyFy are the ones developed. But now that there's a network on board, it's like, okay, this doesn't feel like it's just a figment of
it'll
imagination.
start moving forward.
Yeah.
So because obviously there's the other movies starting up.
Yeah, the remake's coming this year, and if that remake does well, then they'll be happy they've got this. If it doesn't, then it doesn't necessarily discredit this one either, because this will be the real Chucky with the real voice.
If it does badly, either way, they can mark it as this is the true Chucky.
Yeah,
they can really hammer that home.
Yeah, if it does well, then they've got even more name recognition. If it doesn't do well, then for fans, it's like, no, this is the real Chucky with the real voice. Brad Dourif is the voice of Chucky with the real writer.
Yeah, exactly. We've got the real cred to back it up, not just the name.
Yeah. So no, and me and Tim worked our way through that franchise on Streams After Midnight in 2017 and the run up to the new one coming out, and we were very impressed with how that franchise kind of bounced back into just kind of being solid. Like, not amazing. Like, I wouldn't say every horror fan needs to see Cult of Chucky, but if you're a fan of that franchise, that sequel is solid. Curse of Chucky was solid. Like, the solid movies that actually embrace all the wacky continuity the series has, which was weird because it felt like with Bride of Chucky, which was the fourth one, that they kind of like wiped some of it away. But then it's like, no, it's all here. Like, everything that happened.
Yeah, it's interesting just seeing like these horror franchises moved. See, obviously we had Ash vs Evil Dead, and now this. I kind of see them make that shift over and be like, okay, maybe this is a more natural home for some of them. Even
not just TV. Like, just think about the fact that Halloween was like, no, we're returning back to the continuity of the first movie. Like, we did remakes, but no, we're going back now. Yeah. And regardless of the result, I think there's clearly this almost like backlash to remakes that's kind of working within Hollywood now, where everyone's kind of going, you know what, yeah, maybe just sticking to the original version is probably the idea.
Yeah, it could be. And it makes sense you see that in horror first, because they tend to get churned out quite quickly.
Yeah. Even RoboCop's getting a sequel to the original. Yeah. Like, we're doing this more and more. After we've had remakes of things, and now we're going back to the original continuity. This is the new trend.
Literally just like a week ago, Ghostbusters.
There you go. There's another one. Yep, it keeps happening. It's almost like going, you know what? We want name recognition, but if we actually please the fans of the original thing as well, we could get two audiences.
Yeah,
we could get double the audience. Because having all the people who liked it originally champion it might actually help in the marketing.
Obviously, Halloween at the box office performed very well.
Yeah, way better than either the Rob Zombie movies did.
Yeah, so this is something that they're going to look at and go, do you know what? This is what people want. This confirms it. Let's do more.
So yeah, I think Chucky will hopefully play into that, and hopefully this ends up good. I don't know if this is going to be a show that he's got seasons and seasons planned, or if this is just like he's got like a one season idea, or if it's maybe just like, okay, he's got one season, but if it does well, they'll do more, and we'll see. But yeah. Don Mancini's made a career off of Chucky, so
credit to him.
He's going for it. Yeah, he's written all of them. He started directing them with the fifth one, I want to say.
Yeah, fair. I mean, if that's what you're good at, and it's enough to make you presumably a relatively comfortable living, why not?
Well, I mean, knock himself out, and like I said, they actually got good again. So, and they're under his command, and he did that. So, yeah.
No reason to be worried then.
No reason to not be into this. So, moving on. Speaking of SyFy though, SyFy have ordered another pilot. They've ordered a pilot for Cipher, which. Oh, they've ordered two shows actually. They've ordered two pilots. Sorry, I was confusing myself there when I was reading the next bit. So they've ordered Cipher. In Cipher, a secret military technology is unexpectedly implemented in the brain of a 13-year-old video game junkie. The boy and his father then unwittingly find themselves at the center of the next great war over artificial intelligence. Alison Miller will write and executive produce. So this is interesting.
Okay then. Not quite what I was expecting.
Mm-hmm. You'll try it though.
yeah, I will. Unless that trailer looks bloody atrocious.
Oh sure, yeah, but I mean, 13-year-old video game player gets accidentally it was making me think of Inner Space, like just accidentally getting like the technology like into him.
I get that.
Here it's like an AI gets beamed into his head or something like that. I don't know.
Does it replace his personality? Or is it just like, oh, you've got a voice in your head now?
Is it both there? Yeah, it could be both. I mean, it depends, because the father's the main character too, implying that the father's at least having to protect him, if not try and like help find out what happened to his kid.
Yeah.
I guess it just depends. Like, yeah, it depends.
I can see them playing this multiple ways, but yeah, okay.
But hey, that's Cipher. And the other show they also ordered a pilot for is called Future Cult Classic. This is described as a dark comedy set 18 years in the future and centered on a group of teens whose community is rocked by a 1990s slasher movie obsessed serial killer. Our heroes quickly realize that they're being targeted and decide to take matters into their own hands and track down the killer before time runs out. Shay Hatton will write the project, with Tim Kirby executive producing and directing the pilot. This is such a wacky concept. It's not just like a slasher movie TV show. It's a killer who's obsessed with 90s slasher movies, which means he has bad taste.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's very unusual.
Yes. I kind of like... I don't necessarily think this is going to be good per se, but we as sure as shit are trying this because I want to see what this is going to be.
I love the title. I'll give him that.
Yeah, and the future's in brackets as well. It's future in brackets, cult classic.
Okay. I love the title. The premise makes me think I might hate it.
Yeah, it may be terrible, but
yeah,
I need to see it. I need to see the terrible. Even if the trailer's terrible, I'm watching the pilot of this.
I make no commitment.
I need to watch this. Assuming it gets picked up and we actually see it. I mean, pilots can sometimes fade away and never see them again. Next up, Richard Armitage, who you might know from The Hobbit, is going to star in The Stranger, a new Netflix show. It's a collaboration with best-selling author Harlan Coben. It is an 8-episode series produced by the same team that did the previous Netflix show Safe, which was also Coben behind it, which starred Michael C. Hall. Which I don't recall getting a lot of good buzz, to be honest, at the time, but
we saw the trailer and kind of went, eh.
Yeah.
And some people thought it was all right, watchable enough, but I not a lot of strong praise that I saw.
That's glowing. It's watchable. So anyway, Armitage will play Adam Price, a happily married father of 2, whose life is turned upside down after a stranger tells him a secret about his wife. The revelation catapults him into a larger world of conspiracy and danger. This is the sort of thing where if you told me that was I mean, admittedly, this is unfair, but like if you told me that was a description to a Hitchcock movie, I'd be like, yes, let's do it, Hitchcock. But it's Hitchcock. But you tell me that's the premise of a TV show that I don't have any like cred to back it up because I don't know anyone involved. I'm just like, eh.
Yeah, it's a very generic thing that if you put a name that you care about with talent.
Because I do like the title. I like the idea that someone comes up and tells them something and it's a stranger, right? So they call the show The Stranger. It all comes from that person, right?
Sure.
I actually like that part of it. But that's it. That's all I've got to go on.
Yeah, no, this is the thing. Like I say, if there's talent that I liked behind this, it's just interesting enough that I'd be like, yeah, all right then. Without it, it just sounds generic.
USA Network has ordered a pilot. Sorry, they've ordered a series. This is a straight-to-series order. It's called Dare Me. It's based on the novel by the same name by Megan Abbott. The series dives into the cutthroat world of competitive high school cheerleading.
Just move on.
It follows the fraught relationship between 2 best friends after a new coach arrives to bring their team to prominence. While the girls' friendship is put to the test, their young lives are changed forever when a shocking crime rocks their quiet suburban world.
I mean, they're definitely using Mr. Robot as the lead into this, yeah?
Cutthroat cheerleading. Oh my, that makes me laugh.
I'm good.
Yeah. Unless it's Bring It On. I for some reason I have seen the movie Bring It On.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe it's because Elijah Dushku was in it.
Okay.
Who you might know as Faith from the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, I regret this. I regret asking.
I love when I make you ask for it. I love it. It fills me with joy.
Screw you.
So
get on with the bloody news.
The CW's ordered a pilot for a drama called Glamorous.
I'm gonna take a leap of faith and say we're not interested.
Written and executive produced by Jordan Nardino, the show centers around a gender non-conforming recent high school graduate who lands a gig of a lifetime interning at a cosmetics company whose products they panned on their YouTube channel.
I was right. I'm not interested.
Yeah, the chances of a show called Glamorous being for us was pretty slim, really slim. But hey, you know. I mean, I mean, CW is actually quite good at having a lot of diversity, and this sounds like it's adding to that portfolio. It's just not a show that's interesting to us in terms of its premise.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that it'll be a bad show, just I have no interest.
Yes. Fox has given a pilot order to the drama project Prodigal Son. The 1 hour series centers on Malcolm Bright, an acclaimed criminal psychologist. He knows how killers think, how their minds work, why his father was one of the worst, a notorious serial killer called the Surgeon. He will use his twisted genius to help the NYPD solve crimes and stop killers, all while dealing with the manipulative father. Annoyingly normal sister, a homicidal father still looking to bond with his prodigal son, and his own constantly evolving neurosis. Oh, sorry, that was manipulative mother. Did I say that? Or did I say father?
You said father.
I said father. Yeah, I was going to question and say, wait, they said father twice. This is a bad list. But no, it was mother.
It was just you.
It was just me. It's because I went to say manipulation and then had to backpedal and say manipulative. It threw me off.
Yeah.
I remember talking about this one when it was in development. It sounds like such a TV show.
It does, doesn't it?
It's such a network TV show. Is what it is. ABC has given 2 pilot orders. There's more than that, but this was 2 from the same article, which is why it's phrased this way. First up, the broadcasters ordered a pilot for a drama based on the graphic novel, aka comic book.
Well, hang on. Let's see what it is first.
Stumptown by Greg Rucka.
That might actually be a series of graphic novels.
Oh, really? Okay, fair enough.
Because I have like 3 or 4 of those on Comixology.
Because normally, when they say graphic novel, it's actually a comic book series.
It's definitely a series, but it may be a series of graphic novels.
Okay. It follows Dex Parius, a strong, assertive, and unapologetically sharp-witted army veteran working as a PI in Portland, Oregon. With a complicated personal history and only herself to rely on, she solves other people's messes with a blind eye towards her own. That was almost professional and personal lives at the end there. It was a very witty way of writing it, but it was still personal and professional life.
Yeah. Do I need to drink for that?
Here's the thing. If that wasn't something that was based on a thing by Rucka, I would say that was a really boring, generic description.
Yes, so would I.
My interest is only because Rucka wrote it.
Yeah.
Given that it's ABC,
I take it back. It is just a comic. But it's one of those that does the series of mini series, and then it's just here's the collection of the graphic novel, right?
So you dared to correct me.
I said I think because I've only ever seen the collections appear on Comixology. I've never seen the singles.
Can I just say though, you asked for the Buffy reference and you then tried to correct me and then prove yourself wrong. This is
I could have left it, but
everything's
I didn't.
coming up Millhouse. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, it sounds really generic, and given that it's going to be on ABC, it probably will be very generic. So the comic's probably good because Greg Rucka's a fantastic comic book writer. But
it's got absolute style in the art as well.
Yeah.
Because I picked this up a long time ago, before I was even like, oh, Rucka, you know. And as a crime series, it's stylish, but on ABC, probably not.
So the other show that they also ordered from this article was Triangle. The project imagines a world where the Bermuda Triangle is not a watery grave in the middle of the ocean, but a land lost in time that has trapped travellers over the course of human history. When a family is shipwrecked in this strange island... What are you doing?
I picked up my glass and the condensation brought the coaster with it, and I didn't notice, and then it fell off.
When a family is shipwrecked in this strange land, they must band together with a group of like-minded inhabitants from throughout history to survive and somehow find a way home. So this is a high-concept ensemble show. It's actually not a million miles away from Lost. The difference being is that other people who are there are from different periods in history. So it's kind of like a time travel show.
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of. This sounds high-concept enough for us to try, despite the fact that it's on ABC.
Yeah, I don't hate this.
It says, I mean, admittedly, because it's on ABC, I'm expecting it to probably not be that satisfying, but we probably should try this one.
Yeah. I mean, we don't watch a lot of ABC content.
No. I mean, ABC did make Lost, which I love a lot, but, you know, times have changed since then.
Yeah.
You know, there was a time when I had Fringe and Chuck on different networks, and I was like, yeah, there's network shows that I love. Things have changed.
How many network shows do we actually watch anymore?
The DC stuff plus Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's it.
Is that actually it?
I think that's it. I think, you know, once we lost Scream Queens, we did like Pitch when that was on for one season.
Yeah.
But then that went away. So, I think that's it. I can't think of anything else.
Network TV's kind of shit these days.
It's just not for us. Like all the content we like typically migrated towards cable and network, cable and streaming services.
Yeah.
So hey, but that's an interesting premise. I like the sound of it, but I mean, I'm expecting it to be disappointing and for us to not do episode 2, but we should try it.
Yes.
So we'll see. ABC again has also ordered a show called The Baker and the Beauty. You may remember this. This was in development. This is based on a Israeli romantic comedy of the same name. The series tells the story of an unlikely romance between a blue-collar baker and an international superstar. Theirs is a relationship that not only upends their own lives, but also the lives of their two very different families. So,
yeah,
soapy romance kind of thing.
We'll pass.
Not for us. ABC's on a roll this week. ABC has ordered a 1-hour drama pilot based on the John Mayer song "Heart of Life."
Really? John Mayer?
John Mayer, yeah, based on a song.
But on a song?
Based on a song. I'll admit, this is the first time I've ever read this. Based on a song.
Okay, I mean,
I don't know the song. I have no idea if this is what the song sings about.
I've heard the song, but I can tell you what it was about.
So the show follows two sets of adult siblings from wildly different worlds to discover that they're related and must reassess everything they thought they knew about their shared father. As they explore the mystery of their separate childhoods, they'll experience the difficulty in overcoming the sins of the past and learn the joys of reuniting with long-lost family. So this is two sets of siblings who find out so it's not just two long-lost siblings, it's two pairs of siblings.
Yes, because it wasn't convoluted enough.
Yes. So, I mean, I don't know if it's like brother, sister, two brothers, two sisters, whatever, but it's two pairs. Could all be brothers, could all be sisters, who knows?
Yeah.
But it's two pairs, and yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not for
very
us.
Exciting sounding, is it?
I feel like this is going for This Is Us vibes.
It is, and going, hey, we're based on a song.
ABC's also given a pilot order to New York Undercover, which is a reboot of an old show called New York Undercover. Which was a Dick Wolf show back in when Dick Wolf was making cop shows.
One of those.
Picking up 20 years after the end of the iconic series New York Undercover. Yeah, so iconic I never heard of it.
so this is a continuation, not a reboot.
Yeah. Picking up 20 years after the iconic series of New York Undercover, it will follow detectives Nat Gilmore and Melissa Ortiz as they investigate the city's most dangerous criminals from Harlem to Battery Park. Some cast members from the original series are expected to reprise their roles. So this is a passing of the torch. This is a proper.
It is, but also it's a cop show, so who cares?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, people might tell us that New York Undercover was quite good. I don't know.
It might have been for its time, but I doubt I'd want to watch it now.
Who knows? So we're on to the last section here, and you know what that means.
I do, and I'm gonna have to move to get alcohol if this comes up.
Can I get a C? Can I get a B? Can I get an S? The S stands for shit, the B stands for bollocks, and the C stands for a word that I'm not going to say on YouTube. So, so CBS is working on a spin-off of their freshman drama FBI. So FBI is doing so well for them. There's a show called FBI. It's doing so well that they're going to do a spin-off.
Of course they are. Wait, is this a spin-off after one season?
Yes. It's got renewed for season 2, and they're working on a spin-off. It's got a backdoor pilot later this year.
That's pretty quick.
They like to franchise because CBS did the NCIS, they did the CSI. That's all.
NCIS is still going.
Yeah, true. But it's in that kind of form.
So what's this? FBI :
Yes. I want to see if you can guess, because as generic and as bland as FBI on its own is, this might even be like at least equally generic.
Is it a city?
No, it's not a city. It's not a city. But it's something very generic that you could guess. This if you're going to do a spin-off to the FBI, you just wanted to say : something. In fact, even if it wasn't a spin-off, even if you said, "Oh, we've got a new show about the FBI, we want to call it FBI : something," what would it be called?
Oh God, is it like a specific, like a department?
No, it's a phrase that's used all the time with the FBI.
I'm blanking, and I'm going to kick myself in a second. Go on.
The spin-off to FBI is called FBI Most Wanted.
Of course. Of course it is. Oh, CBS, you can't help yourselves, can you? I think someone at CBS has a problem.
It would
I think they need an
follow.
intervention.
It would follow the division of the FBI tasked with tracking and capturing the notorious criminals on the FBI's most wanted list. It will air as a planted spin-off episode or backdoor pilot of FBI that will be broadcast in spring 2019. So it's actually received a serious commitment from the network, which means it's basically already
happening.
It's happening. Joe, what's weird to me about this is I read this, and other than the fact that it's doing things off the most wanted list specifically, how is this any different than the regular FBI show? Like, what is the FBI show doing?
They're doing the day-to-day,
sure.
friendly neighborhood FBI stuff.
Oh my god! Look, the FBI is doing regular murders. FBI most wanted is doing terrorists. Okay, is that what they're doing? All right.
Probably.
This is just I don't even know where to begin. FBI most wanted.
It's just as CBS as it can get.
What's next? A sequel, a spin-off to SEAL Team called SEAL Team Underwater? Like,
why not?
No, SEAL Team Under Pressure.
It's probably already been done.
I don't even know. All right, next up, CBS have ordered a show called Frankenstein.
Less generic, although it's less generic than FBI or FBI Most Wanted.
Yeah, it's Frankenstein. So they're doing their version of Frankenstein. What do you think their take on Frankenstein is? Because of course everyone should know.
Okay.
If you don't know, Frankenstein.
No, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
It's not got the monster, has it?
Traditionally, Frankenstein's about a scientist who makes a monster out of dead body parts, and the monster, is a bit of a beast and kills people, and it's this story of madness and ambition and blah blah blah.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say the monster does not appear. This is simply Dr. Frankenstein, helping the police with investigations.
So it's funny. You're right in one part of it, but you're actually completely wrong about the other part.
Okay, so the monster, it's the monster helping the police investigations.
Okay, Frankenstein from writer and executive producer Jason Tracy. In the series, San Francisco homicide detective is mysteriously brought back to life after being killed in the line of duty. But
That's not Frankenstein, that's just a zombie.
As he resumes his old life and he and his wife realise that he isn't the same person he used to be, they zero in on the strange man behind his resurrection, Dr. Victor Frankenstein. The police detective is the Frankenstein monster. That's the show.
This isn't Frank. It's just a zombie.
Unless it may have someone else's feet and hands. I mean,
I feel like he'd notice that if there was something wrong with him. And go, hang on.
They've taken
what
away,
are all these stitches on my hand?
They've taken away the body part element, but they've got Frankenstein resurrecting a cop, and he'll probably end up helping the cop.
Do you know what's really bad? So the thing with Frankenstein was, it's electricity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's happened here is a doctor has used a defibrillator on someone, and that's it.
No, I presume he's proper dead. Like he's proper. Like there's no brain him back. He's dead, but then he's brought back.
But dead such a short amount of time that his wife didn't know he was dead.
He'll have serum. But who said his wife didn't know he was dead?
Well, I mean, they begin to notice something's wrong with him. That sounds to me like he's gone, hey.
Yeah, as in he's not come back right. He's come back different.
Okay.
There was nothing about that I got.
I read it as more like, they bring him straight back, and he's like, I died here today, but something's not right.
Nah, I didn't read it like that. I read it as, like the wife knew. And
all right.
When they notice something's different, it's because, no, there's something wrong. I've been brought back.
Okay.
He's got bloodlust.
He's got bloodlust. He's got bloodlust from a defibrillator.
So CBS also ordered a pilot for Republic of Sarah, which is a small New Hampshire town, in which a small New Hampshire town is thrust into the world stage when discovery of a valuable resource within its borders compels the residents to declare themselves an independent nation. That sets the unlikely young mayor and her cabinet of inexperienced locals on the path of running a brand new country.
Fine, it's the least generic thing they've got.
It's a micronation. I don't hate the idea of this. I mean, I would probably never watch it in CBS, but I don't hate the idea of a micronation within the US, like, and all the weird things that come with that. Like, do they jokingly declare war in the US at some point?
Jokingly.
do they have to go into negotiations with Trump at some point because they're a different country?
Oh, that sounds glorious. If only this wasn't CBS.
The president of Sarah is here to see the president of the United States. That's funny to me. So that's that. And then finally, CBS is given a pilot order to...
Oh, God.
I swear they're making their titles more and more generic sounding.
This is worse than FBI Most Wanted.
This is called... Yeah, I'll give you the description first, right?
Oh, okay.
And see if you can get it. The show follows the dedicated, chaotic, hopeful, and sometimes absurd lives of the judges, assistant district attorneys, and public defenders as they work with the bailiffs, clerks, cops, and jurors to bring justice to the people of Los Angeles. Which, honestly, that is probably also one of the most generic descriptions ever. It doesn't even give you like any sort of character or like personal and professional lives. It just gives you a list of the people involved in the justice system.
Is it called the justice system?
No, it's not.
Lawyers.
No.
I can't get generic enough.
It's called Courthouse.
Damn it.
It's called Courthouse.
I was overthinking it. Why am I overthinking it? It's CBS.
Next season, CBS might have the following shows on the schedule in the same week: FBI Most Wanted, SEAL Team, Courthouse. That might be like 4 nights of shows on CBS next year. Jesus.
Yeah, New York Undercover.
That wasn't CBS.
Well, that was CBS. I'm just assuming it sounded like a CBS show.
That was ABC.
Okay, fine.
So, that's what it is. But that brings it out to the news, which means we can wrap up. We normally, we will pick our favourite episode of TV of the week. Although right now it's basically just the DC shows plus Star Trek Discovery.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. We should mention Kingdom's pretty good.
Kingdom, Netflix show, Korean original. It is a zombie show set in the past. We've done 3 episodes of that so far. The reviews are up. We reviewed Russian Doll last week, the first episode. We weren't really that into it, but you can check out a review. Coming up soon, is there stuff coming up soon that's worth mentioning?
Well, yes, we're doing a pilot that we're watching tonight, aren't we?
Oh, that's right, yeah, because Amazon put out Hannah, the first episode, early for Super Bowl. The actual rest of the show's not coming until March, but the first episode's out, so we're reviewing that. That should be up very soon, if it's not already by the time this goes up. So.
Yeah, I think that's all we've got for the next week, looking at it. Nothing else is jumping out at me.
Yeah. But hey, not much to tell you about, bizarrely. Although, better news, which is not really specific to this show, but it's worth spreading this and everything. We're adding a new perk to Patreon, starting in March.
Do I know about this?
No, you don't. It doesn't pertain to you, so it doesn't really matter that you don't know.
Okay, I'm like, are you trying to make me do more work?
No, starting in March, there's going to be a Patreon bonus episode of Screams After Midnight every month. Once per month at the $1 tier. So if you're a fan of Screams After Midnight, you'll get an extra episode on Patreon at the $1 tier. So go to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV and you can support us over there and get some bonuses as a result.
How did you get Tim to agree to do more work? What did you bribe him with?
I don't want to talk about it.
Say no more.
Let's just say if I show up on a few shows soon wearing a t-shirt that says "The Boy Is Great," don't question it. Don't question it. But no, so there'll be a bonus episode of Streams on Patreon starting in March. So you can look forward to that if you're into the Streams episodes and horror movies. If you don't know what Streams After Midnight is, me and Tim talk about horror movies every week. It's just that simple. So, you can go check it out. But yeah, other than that, get us on Patreon. I said that. I mean, get us on Twitter, rather, at @mailed_fuzz. Like, subscribe, that also supports us. Yeah. So that's the end of the show.
Yeah, we're done.
I feel like a really quick outro compared to normal.
It did. I feel like I'm usually sat here a lot longer, just kind of waiting.
I feel like I'm missing. I think it's because there's less things to tell you that's coming up TV-wise, and there wasn't much of a decision to make about picking an episode.
You did Patreon, you did Twitters.
Mm-hmm. Merchandise. You can buy merchandise now. There's links in the description to both the US and the UK merch stores. You can get a nice male Fuzz TV hoodie or t-shirt or hat, and
Yeah, you can get a T-shirt specifically for Almost Cancelled now.
yeah, there's a t-shirt that says "Have you got any vanilla?" on it.
Yeah,
Which
I mean, and on that note,
have you got any vanilla?